Hey, it is Jocelyn Alyse, that mindset teacher, encouraging you to change your thoughts so that we can change the world. Listen, friend, it is summertime. Summertime. Yeah, it's summertime and summer school just ended and now I have 2 weeks before I go back and I have just been busy. If that is just completing like little projects that I wanted to do for myself. Yeah, I cleaned out my closet. Shout out to me. I like cleaned out some areas in our bathroom that I have been wanting to like organize and get together. So like organizing my jewelry and things like that. So I've just been doing little things, but I wanted to set aside some time to really goal set and reflect for this upcoming school year. Y'all, we are going into the 2021-2022 school year, and from 2019 up until like 2021, things have been different in education. And a lot of the learning has been, I won't say it hasn't stopped, but it's been disrupted and it's having to be reimagined. And there's just been constant change. And so as I go into this school year, I want to be super intentional and to make sure that I have like some things that I am mindful of, that I know I want to accomplish for my students. So that way, what's the word? Make a plan, or what is the word? Isn't it make a plan and make it plain, or it's something like that. But anyway, we're strategizing. We are thinking about what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, in the type of classroom that we want to have. So that way, when we walk into the school year, we already have this mindset of success. We know where we're going and how we're going to get there. So you guys are going to jump into my teacher planner. You guys, I am going to be making a video of how I set up my teacher planner. So if you are interested in that, definitely stay tuned. But I want to take you guys to the my yearly goals page in my teacher planner. So let's go ahead and go there. All right, y'all. So I have a digital planner. I use my Apple Pencil and my iPeasy. And I also use the app GoodNotes. Now, GoodNotes is a paid app, but y'all, it is so worth it. I plan to record how I set up my student conferencing notebook once I know how many students I have. So stay tuned for that as well. But literally, I used to have all these different journals, like my conferencing journal and my journal from my POCs and all these different journals and things that I would have to carry around with me. Where now with GoodNotes, literally, they're all right here. Like these are all the journals that I use, and I do not have to carry around a bunch of stuff. It's all digitally here with me, and I'm not worried about like losing things because it's here and it's on my phone. Y'all know, shout out to iCloud, but it's on my phone, you guys, so I can continuously refer back to different things, or if I need to quickly jot something down, I'm not like, oh, I left my bag here. Like usually I always either have my phone or my iPad with me. So I have purchased this planner from Etsy. I absolutely love this planner, y'all. I have used it for 2 years now. And it comes already with this yearly goal page. Now, I do not want to set that many goals. This has a space for 5 different goals for you to think about. I remember like when I first got into teaching, my mentor told me, she said, select one thing that you want to work on this year and be super intentional with accomplishing that one thing. And she talked about how the problem is a lot of times we set so many goals for ourselves that it becomes overwhelming, just like that to-do list, y'all. That's why I rocks with the power list. But we set so many different goals for ourselves that we don't end up accomplishing any of them because there's just so much we have going on. So I am first going to create a white text box with white letters, and I am going to basically white out those other 3 through 5, those goals, and I'm just going to use 1 and 2.
Y'all, this is a great strategy if you use GoodNotes, if you ever want to like block out something. So I just make sure the text box and the background of the text box is white. And then I go ahead and increase the font size. This is going to make sure that the box is large enough to cover whatever I want it to. I'm going to lasso that and resize it. So I go ahead, turn it on its side, and boom, there it is.
All right, y'all, so now that 3 through 5 are gone, I am going to go ahead and take my pen and I'm gonna write out 2 different words under each number. So I'm gonna write out why. Why is going to allow me to reflect on why this goal is important to me and why I should even worry about accomplishing this goal in the first place. Understanding your why to me always makes me grind harder. It always makes me remember why I'm working on this thing and then pushes me forward to commit to it. I'm also gonna write in the words action plan. So this is gonna give me some specific steps that I need to take in order for me to achieve whatever it is that goal is happening. Now, these things are gonna be super general, just because they're going to be things that I feel like can help to guide my school year. So I'm going to go ahead and jot those things in. So that way, as I'm reflecting about my goal, I have those things in mind. All right, so now we are ready to really think about our goals, to think about the things that we want to accomplish in this school year and getting those things down. Write the vision and make it plain, y'all. That's it. I think that was it. But we make sure that we know what it is we're trying to accomplish. So I am going to take just a few seconds to reflect on the goals that I have, and then I'll come back and share with you guys what I come up with. Y'all, I have finished goal 1, so I did want to go ahead and go over it with you all. Goal 1 is to provide opportunities for students to take ownership of their reading and writing. Y'all, this goal is so important to me because a lot of students just have not been engaged in learning. And I'll be honest, I took a survey of my class and I told them to be as truthful as possible. And a lot of my scholars said, like, during their independent reading time, when we were all on Zoom sitting, they were like, I was not really reading. I did not really read. Like, I haven't read a book since last year. And so I just want to allow students into just like my habits as a reader, giving them the opportunity to make like want to read book list and just engaging in the love of reading and doing that same thing with writing. So not saying like you need to write this specific essay, but giving them some choice and voice in what they write about. And that is so important, y'all, because, well, let me tell you what the why is. It gives work more purpose. So I am an ELA teacher. So when they love reading and writing, the work that we do in the class is going to have more purpose. So definitely allowing them to take ownership of that. So that way it will reflect in the work that they submit. It also helps students to find themselves as readers and writers and humans, y'all. Reading and writing are so fundamental in life. And so allowing them to really take ownership of that at this age would just be so impactful and powerful for those scholars. And then it helps them to find their own voice. Because y'all know mentor text, right? The books that we read can help to inspire us to find our own voice, as well as writing those things down and giving the opportunity to write what they want will really help them to express themselves and to find their voices as readers and as writers. So that's goal number 1. I said to accomplish this goal, I need to do a couple things, right? So 1, I need to plan out independent reading and writing time in my class. I also need to constantly confer. I need to be checking in with students, and I'm not talking about a conference where we have a specific form we need to fill out and, whatever. We're kind of going through these conferences with students, but really like kind of looking at the student, looking at their reading habits, looking at their writing habits, and seeing right now what is something I could do to nudge that student forward. So really being responsive to the student. So if I'm looking at a student and I see during writing time they have their pencil down the whole time, they're kind of staring up into the air, like asking them what's going on. Oh, I can't really think of what to write. Well, let's draft out some ideas. Let's make a bubble map. Let's do some things where I can push that student forward. And that gives them then the strategies to know, like, okay, when I have trouble coming up with an idea, I can do these certain things. So really just building their toolkits so that they can foster more independence in their reading and their writing. The other thing that I put down was a class blog. Y'all, we did like our writing section in Canvas last year, and it was super cute. Students always wanted to have their writing featured on there. So I feel like that really inspired after I found out like my kids are not really reading and writing when I asked them to, that really inspired them to like read and write more. And so I want to give students that same thing. And then there's that audience, right? Where I'm not just writing to turn something into my teacher. I'm not just writing to have this in my journal, but I'm writing for people to hear me. And that really goes to like giving them the voice and then just allowing them to have choice. So that is something that is super important in building that ownership for students. So that's goal number 1, y'all. I'm going to sit down, reflect just a little bit more, and think about goal number 2. I definitely think goal number 2 is going to be something focused more on like social and emotional things and really watching myself, because I don't want to say, oh, all my students are not going to get into trouble, or they're not going to, they're going to manage their emotions properly. Like, I want to make this goal about me, where what can I do to help my class? I feel like as teachers, a lot of times we look as people, as humans, forget the teaching thing. We look at others and we don't think like, how can I help to be the solution, rather than saying like, oh, well, this kid just ain't doing what they need to do. He didn't come in like he came in and he was snapping at me. Like, we respond in those ways instead of really thinking about what we could do. So I'm going to think, what can I do to help manage behaviors, to help students to feel free to express themselves, to feel heard and understood and respected in my learning environment. So I'm going to reflect on that for just a second, and then I will let you guys know what I come up with. All right, y'all. So we have goal number 2 in the books, y'all. And I feel like this goal is so major key, especially with what went down in summer school. I don't know if y'all watched my previous video, but if you haven't, you need to check it out. It was all about teacher self-care. And in summer school, y'all, I had a lot of struggles with students kind of just being in their own world and not understanding why they had to do certain things, and just kind of getting a little spicy. And I had honestly never experienced that before. And I know y'all could be like, okay, but in my class, like, usually students are very respectful, and I have not really encountered kids that just look me in the eye and tell me no. So that was like a total, it kind of disrupted just how I viewed myself in the classroom and how I viewed my classroom space. And so I kind of had to step back, pause, and really just make sure that I was not responding in frustration. And so that meant that I had to go into work late. That meant I had to take a pause from what was going on and really sit back and try to understand. And so that's where this goal is kind of birthed from, because if my students come in with that sort of same mindset where they're like, oh, well, school is optional basically, or, you know, I really don't have to do this, or I could just sit here, and they have that mindset coming into the door. I want to be able to respond to them in a way that is loving, that is caring, and that is motivating, instead of like a corrective tone, because y'all, that just don't work. If you want results, it's not going to come from that way. So here is the goal. It says, listen to understand and not to respond. So as my scholars are speaking to me, I am definitely making sure that I want to understand where they're coming from and really kind of understand what's going on with them before I respond, especially in like that teacher voice. So I feel like I just explained it, y'all, but here is the why. So many students have been isolated, you guys. They have been at home. They have not been socializing a lot with everything happening with COVID. And they've lacked like that ability to be heard by others and to really have a voice in their learning community. On Zoom, a lot of teachers, you know, use the chat, or they allow students to, you know, unmute and share, but it just was not the same. So giving them that ability to be heard again, and then it fosters a mutual respect. So students know I'm not just asking you to respect me because I'm the teacher, but I also respect you and I hear you. And then it gives them confidence in their voice and models effective communication. So I'm not just going to shut them down. No, ma'am. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to understand what's going on in the situation and try to be responsive and allowing moments to, as Miss Robin Jackson, love her, but as she says, creating those wow moments where a student can really learn from the situation. So action steps to do that, y'all, are to, one, ask why. I just mentioned Robin Jackson in one of her podcasts, y'all. If you do not listen to it, The School Leadership Reimagined, it's amazing. But in one of her podcasts, she says something about using the strategy of how come. So instead of responding to like what a student said, if they say like, no, I'm not going to do this, you just pause and you say, well, how come? And you say it calm and you say it chill. And then, okay, I don't, because this is stupid. Well, why do you think it's stupid? And she literally just says, like, just keep pushing the student to get down to what's really going on. And when we do that, we oftentimes will like de-escalate a situation because the student isn't often expecting you to want to know and like to truly want to know why. Now saying like, well, why are you doing that? Like that is a totally different tone than saying, well, why don't you want to do your work? Well, how come? How come you don't want to put your phone away? Like it just gives off a totally different tone. And a lot of times it just gets students talking. So definitely using that, asking why, asking how come, responding calmly and with love. And to be able to do that, I have to do this next one here that is literally major key, period. Living in the pause. I need to pause, kind of reflect. So when a kid first says something, our initial response is to say something back. Our initial, reaction is to, oh, no, correct that. No. But allowing a moment to kind of pass to really think about and be intentional with what you're going to say. Because what we don't want to do is tear students down. What we don't want to do is make an example out of this child, but showing not just that student, but every person around them that I am going to move with love and care because I love and care for you. And my intention is not to overpower you. I don't want to get in a power struggle with you, but to push you and to allow you to grow because I just love you that much. So those, y'all, are my 2 goals that I am walking into this school year with. Y'all. It's so important to have a vision, to have goals for your school year, for your classroom. What are you going to do? What action steps are you going to take to make and to build the classroom community that you want to have? The power is in your hands, y'all. You can be a thermometer and you can just read the room. You can look and you can see like, okay, this is where the kids are. Okay, I need to match their level. They being petty, I'm gonna be petty. Or you could be a thermostat and you could set the temperature. You could let them know that in this environment, this is how we roll, and doing that with love. So I hope that this video helps somebody. Y'all set them goals. Drop it in the comments. Let me know, what are your goals for this school year? What do you want to accomplish? And I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, before we go, I do want to shout out a teacher friend, y'all. Hollywood Teaching. She is the living truth, y'all. And what I love about her is just how supportive and motivating she is to other teacher tubers. So Hollywood Teaching, you rock, you are awesome, and I appreciate you for being a part of my journey.